So today, Assalamu alaikum. Today, I will give you an overview of IT support course, Google course, which I have completed and what I have learned from it. So let's go on the module one of the course one. So in module one, it is an introduction to IT industry and the role of IT support specialist and explaining how IT support a business and how support teams interact with other departments. So we will also know the rules and responsibilities in IT support, common job roles or career paths in IT. Basic concepts of computing digital literacy. So let's move on the first quiz. So this is how to count in binary. It means we will convert a decimal into our binary calculator. So if you see here, this is 23, right? So 23 is first we will have to select 16 and then we select 4 is 20 and 2 here and 1. Then we check it so it is 23. So if we see 1, 1 means that it's only you have to select 1 from here. And if we have 28, 28 is basically the 16, like press 16 and then 8. It's 24 and then 4. So if we check it, it's 28. So it is basically a very easy question. So let's move on other module. So in module 2, we have to understand the hardware. So, and in-depth looked at the computer hardware, including how it works and how to troubleshoot it. So we have different components in it, like a RAM, a drive, a CPU, motherboard, printers, and keyboards, etc. And we will learn how to assemble a computer. If you see in this quiz, so it is basically how to assemble a computer. This is CPU. We only pick up the pictures from here and put them in a right block. Okay, so this CPU, this is CPU pocket socket, sorry, and the CPU fan will put here. So this is basically and picking up the one picture and placing it in a right path. So let's move on module 3, which is about the operating system. Understanding operating system, their functions, and how to manage and troubleshoot them. Major operating systems in Windows, Macs, and Linux, file systems and directories. It basically tells us about the command basic and installing configuration of operating systems, basically troubleshooting and maintenance. So let's move on module 4. So module 4 is basically about the networking overview. So it tells us about the fundamental of computer networking, including how network operate and how to troubleshoot network issues. So where we have different key concepts, which is DNS, LAN, WAN, routers, switches, modems, and wireless networking system, and basic troubleshooting problems to basic for basic in network troubleshooting. So let's move on module 5. It is basically about the software. What is software? So we will understand the our system software and versus application software, installing and management of software, basic script and automation, troubleshooting common software issue. So let's move on module 6. So it's basically troubleshooting. So troubleshooting, we will structure the troubleshooting process for diagnosing and resolving technical issues using the documentation and resources for troubleshooting, customer service skills in IT support, real world troubleshooting scenarios. Each module builds on the previous one, I guess. So, providing a comprehensive understanding of IT support fundamentals. So, if so, let's move on second course. So, first we do the module one from the course two. So, it is about the introduction to computer networking. So it basically is the we will study the basic computer networking, includes how a network is and how it functions. We'll have different key topics in it, like importance of networking, LAN, when LAN is a local area network and WAN is a wide area network. The components of client servers, transmission, media, and we'll have a lot of TCP, IP, Internet Protocol, and TCP is Transmission Control Protocol. So let's first move on the first assignment quiz. Oh, it's layers in networking model. So basically, we have this image, five networking layer models. So we will uh, choose one, two, three, four, and five. It means one is starting from the from the bottom. So first we have transport layer. It is in this order, otherwise this is not correct. First is transport layer, second is network layer, three is physical layer, fourth is data link layer, and fifth is application layer. So we will arrange it in this way. So we will got 100% marks in this quiz. So let's move on networking basis. So it is as you see, I already told you, but I don't know why I choose this option. TCP stand for Transmission Control Protocol. So which is the following fifth layer of the network model. So you see its application. Fifth is application layer. So which layer in the trans TCP and IP model is responsible for? It's about the data link because these both are dealing only with data link. So what type of cable binary data by changing the voltage between two ranges? So the copper wire is used to the binary data by changing the voltage because copper have more voltage. You have installed a device at a physical layer. All you connect to this device will tell you to the other each at the same time what have you installed. So it's a hub. And sixth question, which of the following is the device that knows how to forward traffic between the independent networks? So it's a router. Keep it in your mind. True or false, most devices are purely a server or a client. Yes, it's false because not most devices are server or client. So in eighth question, when data flows across a cable in both directions, this is known as duplex communication. What is the more common plug used with twisted pair of network cables? So it's registered Jack 445. Which layer abstracts away the need for other layers to care about in use? So it's, I don't know what is it. So I guess it's the transfer, but it's incorrect. So let's move on the second module. So the second module is about the network layer. So the second module is about the network layer. We understand how the network layer routes the data from one computer to another and over interconnected networks. So we have a key points: IP, subnetting and submask routing and routers, understanding of IPv4 and IPv6. So let's move on The third module, because I have a shortage of time, so I'm sorry, I will not do any quiz from every software. So we have module three. So module three is about the transport and application layers. We will deal with the in this module is about the function of transport application layer in network stack, in ensuring reliable data transmission and managing communication services. So in this module, we have powered sockets, HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SMTP, the process of encapsulation and decapsulation. So let's move on the fourth module. In this module, we have networking services. So networking services, essentially, it allows us to the network service that help manage, secure, and facilitate network operations. So we have DNS, DSCP, NAT, PAT. So we will have a different abbreviation in it. It's an IPs. So the first, so let's move on fifth module because I have a shortage of time. So it is about the connecting to the internet. So connecting to the internet or a wireless mobile system. So it basically it tells us about the basics of wireless networking, Wi-Fi, and security protocols for Wi-Fi in networks, cellular networks, and mobile networking like 3G, 4G, and so on. So move on module six. Module six is about the troubleshooting and the future networking. So it allows the technique for diagnosing the resolving network issues and an overview of future networking trends. So the key points in it is IoT, SDN, and we have a career opportunity in network. It tells us about this. So let's move on the third course. Uh, from the first module of third course, we have the navigating the system. So the introduction to this course and basic of navigation of different operating system. Well, in this module, we have learned about the Windows and the Linux and how we can file a system using Linux and what's the command for Linux and how we work in Windows. So basically, it is about the managing files and directories. So first, move on the first quiz. It is basically about the creating, modifying, and removing files and folders in Windows. So in Windows, I know that the when we create an folder, we will go to the home screen and then right click, and here we have a new option, and when we put our cursor on new, we see there's a new folder, so we will done with the create folder. So it's about the removing files. It simply deletes some, click something and delete it. So it's removing files. And the folders, I have already told you how to create a folder. So basically, it is not a big deal. But in Linux, I guess, but in Linux we have a different commands. We have to learn that to do anything in this operate in this quiz. So when you are using the Linux software, so you have to do to understand the command. So you will do that. This. Let's move on second module. So the second module is about the user and permission. So basically, it's understanding the user accounts, permissions, and access controls in operating system. So It also allows us to creating and managing user accounts, user groups, file and directories permission, setting and modifying permission in Windows and Linux, importance of root and administrator accounts, best practice for securing the user account permissions. So let's move on the software and package management. Software and package management, installing, updating, managing software on Windows and Linux. We will learn about this. You have only the to use. I will not be able to open these quiz because I won't be able to. So that's why I am not showing everything. So that's where in Linux we have only the commands. We have to learn that commands before typing anything. So if we have to file archiving, so we have to use that command. So in this is just simple. So let's move on the fifth module. It's about the life of our process management. So it's understanding the processes and the threads using the task managers and the system monitors. So it's starting, stopping, and managing processes like CLI tools. So in the sixth module, we will see the operating system maintenance. Operating system and maintenance. So, routine maintenance tasks to keep the running smoothly. Operating systems. It is about the health of the monitors. So how we have a file transfer on Linux, file transfer on Windows, you have only be able to like select the one file and copy it or transfer it from other folder. It's so easy. So because I would not be able to open this file, well, open this quiz. So that's why I am doing this. So let's move on the third, fourth, fourth course of the first module. So which is about the introduction to system administration, introduction to the role of administration and overview of IT infrastructure services, roles and responsibilities, overview of IT infrastructure. Mm, so basics of hardware, software, and operating systems, importance of documentation and monitoring in system. In the second, wait, let do an quiz. It's basically who works in the background of such company infrastructure and is constantly to IT disasters. So it's the system administrator. So which of the following are potential responsibility of CSDM? So it's networking administration, database administration, and technical support. So which type of server most closely resembles our desktop in appearance? Tower server. So if for the following for a small company might manage. So it's about SSH and email. So fifth question, I have shortage of time, so I am just going overview from it. What are the some disadvantages of cloud computing? Is becoming dependent on the cloud provider. It could potentially cost more. So I don't know what it is. It's about the routine maintenance. I don't know. So in seventh question, are usually setting their computer's host name and username in which stage of the hardware lifecycle does its scenario belongs to development. An ID support submits a purchase order to buy a new computer from a vendor. Purchase orders are issued by the user that indicates a purchase they want to make from a seller. Which stage of the hardware's life cycle does this scenario below? Procurement. So the this is incorrect. So an employee is leaving the company, which of the 2 days offboarding. Wipe the machine for future use and remove the user's access. So if someone is leaving the job or their they have to remove the user's access. So let's move on the second module, which is about the network and infrastructure, understanding the network services and essential and essential infrastructure that supports the network connectivity. So in this courses, we in this module we have to understand the router switches and the basic network security basics. So in the third module we have software and platform services, managing the how we manage these software and platform services, including web server, database, and file servers. So we will also know about the Dockers, managing software dependencies, and the configuration. So let's move on the fourth module. It is about the directory services. So the setting up and managing directory services and mechanisms to secure user access. So it's about we will know the user account management and authentication, understanding the Kerberos and other authentication protocols, group policies and access controls. So we have also an graded assignment, which is question 10. So it might be open later. So the final project is the three questions. So let's move towards it. So this is basically the we have to collect the answer. So the correct answer is this in explain the you will see my response. So I will just have to tell about the restrictions that a company faces in a great detail. So let's move on the fifth course. So we have first module, which is about the understanding security threats. So introduction to landscape of security threats and the fundamental of IT services troubleshooting. So we have different types of threats like malware, uh, phishing, social engineering, and they will have confidentiality availability, and they will have the importance of modeling risk assessments. So let's move on the graded assignment. It's about the threats, security threats. Which of the following is an example of CIA threats? Protecting online accounts with a password. And the second question, which of the following is true of black hat and white hat hackers? Black hat hackers are malicious. White hat identify weaken to the threats. So what kind of malware can block access to data and decrease the availability by holding the system hostage or as ransomware? So the fourth answer is A. I have a shortage of time. Five is RAP, and sixth answer is assigned flood attack. So the paintball, I guess. So in eighth question, we have measures can prevent injection attacks, data sanitization, input validation. Ninth, which of the best standard password? Incorporate symbols, numbers, and capital letters because if you use this password, not everyone would know or guess, any guess. So any email tells us about there is a problem with the user bank, the number ready to long. So it's mainly the definition of this phishing. So let's move on the second module. Second module is so easy, and the cryptology it's about the cryptology basic use of cryptology and the hashing. So the difference between symmetric and asymmetric incorporation and the hash function and their uses, PKI, real world application in software and data. It's so easy in hashing. So in we have to only hand on with the hashing. It's only the open the quiz and you will see the commands and at the right on the here. So only copy it and paste it here. We have commands here, so we will able to do the quiz. So I can't open because I guess I have no feedback here, so I will not be able to do it. So in the third module, it's about the authentication and accounting and authorization, which means where the user who have claimed to be have appropriate access, authorization and access control methods, understanding tokens, best practices for managing user credentials, and the fourth module is about the network security securing your networks. So protecting network infrastructures and data transmissions. We have this in it. So let's move on the fifth module, sixth module, sorry. So it's about the defense or creating a culture for security. So the concept of defense and depth and security policies and procedures, incident response planning and execution, and there's a security assessments. The final module we have now a final module in this we don't have any quiz or nothing, so we have only the support to prepare for the jobs in IT support. So the only this is our job skills or how we can find a job or in IT support. So thank you so much. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't open some quizzes because it don't allows me to do. If I would open it, so it will takes time. So that's why I will just overview in this course. And thank you so much. Khuda Hafiz.